foil. So in our environment, human being itself is foil. We have everything that can consume, that can burn. Then we have oxygen. The way we need oxygen to exist in life, that is how fire need oxygen to develop. If without oxygen, fire cannot exist. So then we have heat. Heat emanated. We have an ignition point which emanated before we can experience fire. These three things, if they combine together, we must experience what we call combustion, which is fire. So that is why you are hearing fire, 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 but people don't know. We apply these three methods to also extinguish it, where we use starvation, that is in terms of oxygen. When we mean starvation, we block the oxygen penetrating into any burning substances. Moment it blocks, you discover that there is no fire again. Okay. Telling you that without the oxygen, the fire cannot exist. Then we also have heat. Under the heat, we only apply what we call cooling method. This cooling method is just to cool down the temperature, like a small child is in the hospital, running temperature. The doctors will ask you to put shovel in the water, squeeze it, then be mopping his or her body. What are they doing? They are trying to cool down the temperature. By cooling down the temperature without the heat, the fire cannot go. Then the last one, we have a foil. In type of foil, what we call in type of foil, that is starvation. In foil, that oxygen we call it a smothering method, blocking of oxygen, smothering method. This one we call it a starvation method. When a material is burning, you see that there's fire there, or this one got fire. Trying to remove this one, in order the fire not to spread to that level, to that foil, the second foil. Means you starve the fire, depriving it to exceed to other side. So those are the three methods we apply as we have the three elements that combine together before we experience what we call fire, combustion. So now, in part of these three things, if you observe in the society, our carelessness or ignorance matters most. When we have experience of these elements we combine together and you are playing with them, you put your matches close to children, you left them unattended to. Children saw you the way you are doing with them. Then in your absence, they are trying to practice. These children of nowadays, they are just like computer. So they are trying to practice
inquisitive, yes. They want to know.
They want to know what you are doing. So they practice it, they drop it. So what is going to happen? In the child is ignorance. Why in the side of the parent is what? Carelessness. Because they're supposed to keep it away. Sometimes you will see there's no light. People will plug down their electric gadget down because light is not frequent. So because of that, you drop your electric gadget unattended to. You left out. You don't know the time the current will call at a high voltage or low. By the time they flash and you plug your equipment down, it spark, fall to combustible material, fire comes. You are not around. What is that? It's carelessness. Why in the other hand, you see people that are building houses or connecting some material in the home, you discover that they use inferior things. The owner may not know, but the engineer or the person that they give the contract to use the inferior thing. To the person's side is ignorance of what is happening. Why the person that did it is what? Carelessness on his own side.
True. Or
you are driving your car. It developed fault. Instead of you to go and fix it out, you are now waiting, managing it, doing that. It's carelessness in your side. So if you observe, those are the things we are experiencing in these days. Like people now, you are using gas at home. They told you don't use your phone. So you carry your phone inside. Meanwhile, remember that phone you are using, it has no anywhere that connected. And you can speak from here to London. Why? It's using waves. So now the gas you are using, have you been seeing it? You are not seeing it. Also, it's what? Waves. When these two waves jams together, at that moment when call is coming, the service of that phone is coming in and that of gas is coming out. So if the two can jam together, explosion will set in. So that is the reason why we always advise people that if you want to use gas at home, try to make sure you open your window at least 5 minutes so that fresh air will enter. And if you want to use gas, don't use your phone there. If you know you don't have any alternative, make sure you put it at flight mode so that you'll be at the safer side.
Awesome.
Those are the
common causes. Thank you. And two major causes that you hammered on was carelessness and ignorance.
Yes.
I'd like to say that we are streaming live on Facebook on Flow FM NG and also on YouTube at Flow FM 927. You can see what is happening in the studio. And of course, I have MUHAMMED KAZEEM, the head of the prevention department at the Kwara State Fire Service, and shedding light on how to prevent fire disasters. And yes, we've spoken about the causes, fire incidents and and you spoke a little bit about how to prevent them and the methods you use to prevent them as well. But for people now, layman, before the fire service, of course, when you contact the fire service, before they get there, what immediate steps should citizens take before the fire service arrives to minimize damage and ensure safety?
Thank you very much. Moment you experience fire like that, immediately you experience fire, try to raise an alarm. Because the people that are close to you, they will know that there's a danger around. So people will know what to do. Then secondly, try to evacuate from that building immediately. The reason is that you don't know how the extent of fire or what is happening there. Try to make sure, don't say you have this, you evacuate from the building immediately. Moment you raise an alarm and evacuate from the building, try to make sure you take the roll call. While doing that, call fire brigade on the number I give, which is 08030 41 93 16 or 08025 89 6740. So moment you call, then you now look at the people that evacuate from the building. Are they complete or anybody is inside? In case if the fire service comes, that they will just ask if there's anybody left inside. Before they start fighting the fire, they have to go and rescue the life first before the fire, because the major duty of fire service is to save life and property.
Yes.
Now, after you do that, please don't open your door or window when you discover there's fire outbreak, because moment you open the window or door, the breeze will enter and support the fire.
Just like you mentioned, oxygen.
There's oxygen will enter and support the fire. Then, in this case, if you know you can able to fight the fire before the fire brigade, try to fight. Try to do whatever you can do at your own capacity. If you know you cannot, just leave it. When they come, they know what to do and fight the fire. So those are the steps you need to take in that area. That are the major steps that you need to take in that area. But the most paramount thing, whether you can fight the fire or not, try to make sure you call the fire service. The reason is that there may be remnants you may not know, and there's something that they're supposed to check for you and you may not know. If you say you will fight the fire, they should go back. They won't collect anything. It's free of charge. Fighting fire is free of charge. Nobody will ask anything, unless if you see that they work for you the way you want and you decided to just appreciate. That is all. Nobody will ask anything from you. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that is good. Immediate steps on how individuals should take
before
fire service
arrives.
Fire service arrives.
Yeah.
I would like to ask, actually, some people feel like, okay, yeah, let's just do it ourselves, because we don't really know fire service, how effective they are. And also, I just want to ask you, you're here, so how equipped and prepared is the Kwara State Fire Service to respond to emergencies when they're being called?
Thank you very much. If you can observe in Nigeria today, Kwara State Fire Service is one of the number one firefighters in the country. Reason is that if you can hear any disaster in any country, in any state, you see people, 30 people, 40 people died. But in Kwara State, hardly you had 5 people, 2 people died in any incident, because Kwara State Fire Service always prepare down. You see what we call emergency always prepare down, because you don't know the time it will occur. So like Kwara State Fire Service, we have our trucks. This truck that you see, they have water there, the chemical is there, the fuel is there. So moment they go for any incident, after they are back, they will replenish the tank back down, because they don't know what will happen next. So by the time they store it down, anybody that comes like that or they receive any distress calls, they will start leaving immediately to that point, because they know somebody who call, the life or property is in danger. So therefore, we don't need to wait for anything. That is why you discover in Kwara State today, we have the level of disaster reduces from before. If you look at the record we have, and if you look at some states, the way they used to be experiencing fire, you will hear that people die or do this and that. You can never hear it in Kwara State, because already we prepare ourselves. And as a preventive chief, every time, if you can observe, we have a vehicle that we brought, which the Kwara State government has procured for us. There are 2 Hilux, Kite Hilux, which is a first responders vehicles. As it is outside there, moment you see that Hilux going, if there's anything on the road, you will stop and start fighting fire before the trucks. So we are ready. So this vehicle again is responsible from our own department to go around the town, checking how people's safety is. We go and carry out inspection to an establishment, either financial or private. We go and check. So their safety equipment are they safe or not? So we'll be going from one place to another.
Okay, so that's even before they called you
Before they
that
call
there's a
us,
fire outbreak.
there's a fire. So we always go around to be checking. Even today we have a schedule. We have some establishment that we're supposed to go and check their safety gadget and how equipment they are and how readiness they are in case of any eventualism. So we prepare for that already before we receive call that we have a program at here. So we have to suspend that after the program, then we'll proceed on our work. So that is the reason why I said in Kwara State today, you discover that we are okay, firefighters in Nigeria, because sometimes incident may happen from Abuja, they'll be calling us, they say, you try. From Ibadan, everywhere, some states they will call, they'll be asking. So that is the reason why I say in Nigeria today, Kwara State is one of the best, because if you observe, our disaster is different from other states. You can never have any disaster that will have in Kwara State that will lose life like 5 people, 7 people, whereas where we can be hearing sometimes 30 people, 80 people, a big motor crash happen, people die, whatever. Before it happens in Kwara State, we are already there. When it happens, when they call us, before it go out of hand, we are already there. That is why it reduced to the minimum level. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. And I like the fact that I said you go even before there's fire outbreak and all, you go to check, if they have the equipment ready just in case of that. And you mentioned about yes, we're Kwara State Fire Service is part of the best in Nigeria. But are there any challenges you think you face in carrying out your duties effectively?
Thank you very much. In course of fighting like this, every day things are changing. We are developing. So when you Google, you discover the way we do things have been changing from others. So we must have challenges. The challenges we have is that number one, our road users. Sometimes if we are called on fire distress call like that, fire service in Kwara State today, we don't blow siren anyhow. Where you heard that we are blowing siren, it is an emergency. All among the uniformed men. If you see people are blowing siren, fire service without any emergency, we cannot blow, because our own, they know that if we are blowing siren, it's an emergency. Meanwhile, if we are blowing this siren, people, the road users, they don't always give us way. That is number one challenge. Now, when incident happen from Unity to Oloje, it's very far. We are blowing siren. You're supposed to give us way to know that we want to go and fight. Then the youth there, they will attack that will stay long. Meanwhile, like the number I called, many people doesn't have the number, but they have police number. Yes, they have police number. They don't have our number. And always we used to go radio, Sobi FM, everywhere, dropping this number so that people can have it. In case, instead of the fire started to have bike or carry vehicle to come down to the office before we go, this might have destroyed. It's not our fault. When something happen like that, immediately you call. Instead of the time you consume to come down, we will be coming. So it will reduce the level of the damage. But they don't call. It is either passerby that we even inform of there's an incident there. You see, the person that even have the incident, he may not have the number or he may not know what to do. It is passerby, many of the calls that we used to collect. So then the youth there, when we get that, the hoodlums, they will start blocking us, stoning us. That why do we come late? Or they say we complain there's no water, or we complain there's no fuel, whatever. You cannot go to any fire station in Nigeria today and say they said there's no fuel. That's why it's not possible, because they are for emergency and they prepare down waiting for this emergency, and they don't know the time the emergency will occur. So therefore, we prepare down for it. Then we also have a little challenges in terms of our equipment. You understand? In fact, Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, in fact, he has tried seriously for us. If you see these healers we are using, he's the one that procured of us. Even recently, about 3 months back now, he procured a truck, a brand new truck again for us, which we position it at Unity, add to what we have before. He bought all this equipment for us and other items for us. So, but yet, even when you eat today, you eat now, by tomorrow you may be feeling another hungry. That is number one. And if you observe again, the way we are flowing in this fire service in Nigeria today, you see many states, the state fire service are collecting parliamentary salaries. But we are working, governor is also working on it. We are begging him to also help us to inculcate that so that we can be free on that area. Then in equipment that we are talking about, there are some gadgets we're supposed to have. which little we need do, we root on them, but and the response is coming. Because like a phone chemical now, it has been procured already now, and that is what it used to help us. Because this phone chemical compound, if you have it, when you have fire incident, where you're supposed to use 5 minutes, you use 2 minutes. If you have it where you used to use 10 minutes, you can use like 5 minutes or less. So it saves time and manpower. So, but thank God, last month governor also has given it to us, and we really appreciate all what he's doing. That we are still begging, we need more. We need more trucks to cover some areas. The other ones we have, they are getting older, so that the new ones that can come, so we can also have to push our work forward. So thank you very much on that area.
Okay, thank you very much. I would still like to reiterate that we are streaming live on YouTube at Flow FM 927 and also on Facebook at Flow FM NG. You're still listening to Flow FM 92.7, and this is Kwara Today, and we're talking about fire prevention and its measures. I have the head of prevention department at the Kwara State Fire Service Department, MUHAMMED KAZEEM, here with me, and the number to call in case of any fire outbreak. In case of
fire outbreak is 080 30 41 9316 or 080 25 89 67 40 or free to call number 112. And also I like to give safety tips.
Yes.
Like
safety guidelines.
Safety guidelines. Like when we are leaving our offices, try to make sure you off all your electrical gadgets. Even if it is possible, you can unplug them down, because you don't know the kind of voltage that will come in your absentia. Then also, if you are at home, try to make sure all your lighters, your matches, you keep it away from the reach of children. Then we talk of gas before, that if you have gas at home, make sure you carry the cylinder outside and connect the pipe to your burner. And if you connect it to the burner, in case if there's any eventuality, you can quickly go out and close the valves, then in case of any eventuality. Then thirdly, I said if you want to use gas, try to make sure you open your window doors within some times, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Yes, the fresh air can blow it in case if there's any leakages. And also don't use your phone while using gas, and also try to make sure you have your blanket. So I want to bring this one again. Please, if you experience any fire outbreak and you have no way to go out, smoke always weak people. Smoke kill people before the fire outbreak. So smoke kill people before the fire outbreak. So because before the fire. So therefore, try to reduce your height. The smoke always lighter, it goes up, while the oxygen we are inhaling always down. So the moment you reduce your height to the minimal level, down to your knees level, you can discover that you'll be able to be breathing before the fire service will come, so they can come and save you. And if you know you can have access, you can crawl down, you can be able to having access to breathe. So before you go, so you can be breathing, you have access of breathing, then you go, because the carbon monoxide will be going up. If you observe any fire outbreak, you discover that this smoke will be going up. Okay. So let's try to be practicing it. The moment you practice it, if you find yourself in any difficulty, you can be able to save yourself in that area. Also try to make sure you have at least one extinguisher at home. In case of any eventuality, you can be able to quickly use it before it go out of hand.
I would like to ask a question there. Is there any, because there's people that have this, fire extinguisher at home, and also when you go to check them, you mentioned about checking if they have this equipment and all. Do you teach them how to use?
Yes, we teach them.
Because I know there are different fire extinguishers, colors, and for different purposes.
Yes, we have different fire extinguisher. We have what we call dry chemical powder. This dry chemical powder is good for anything liquefied products or electricity. The way we have, that is how we have classes of fire. It's because of time. I will have go to classes of fire to know how different they are, and that is how we recommend different extinguisher for people on how to extinguish this type of fire. So we have different fires. So the fire is not the same. We have different due to the combustible material that we have. So this CO2 is good for those items. It's good for class A, B, C. If you look at the side of that red one, the root A, B, C, telling you the class A, it can find class A, it can find class B, it can find class C, which is class A, free burning carbonaceous material, class B flammable liquid, that is petrol, diesel, kerosene, and so on. Then class C, that is electricity. So it can fight those one. We also have what we call foam chemical compound. This foam chemical compound extinguisher is also is good. It fights class B fire. It's good for class B fire, which is flammable liquid. This foam, that is what people thought we are using Omo while fighting fire. It's not Omo, it's chemical. This chemical, by the time you spread it, it will foam. The foam will cover this on the surface of the burning material, trying to block the oxygen penetrating into that burning material, so that the oxygen will not have access of getting to that material again, so the fire will be out itself. You know, I told you we have 3 elements that combine. When we remove one out of the 3, the fire will go. It's just like you have your triangle, remove one leg, you know, the 2 will fall. That is the work. So we also have what we call CO2. This CO2 is also fine and is good for home, offices. The reason is that it has no chemical. It works with what we call carbon. That is carbon dioxide. So, you know, we inhale this oxygen. The carbon that is inside, even if you are eating, or where you have your eatable material, or your pharmacy or doctors where you have your drugs or whatever, moment you spread it there, you can still use it. But when you use what you call DCP, dry chemical powder, the powder is chemical. It can engulf or cover all those material you have, and they'll be wasted. You cannot use them. That is the reason, that is the essence of our inspection. Going to check, or if you want to buy, if you come to us, we'll ask you what are you doing there, or you take us to where you want to use it. We'll first check before we recommend the type you will buy, because there are difference. Sure, you understand. Yeah. Then we also have what we call a sprinkler system at home, which we install in the building, which is automatically designed. Whether you are around or not, moment it discover there's fire outbreak, it will just release itself and fight. And moment the place is cool down, it will close by itself, whether you are there or not. So, but our people, we don't go to these things. Even look at people, they will take house, they will not even look at the house whether it have exit route or not. The reason is that if there's anything, eventuality, if you don't have access from this door, you can have access from the other side. You will be able to escape yourself. But we don't observe all those things. Look at now this place, the way you build this place now. Is it one day? It's not one day. Look at the person that owns it. How much is he used? When we said you should have this sprinkler system, put it here in case of any eventuality, whether you are around or anybody is not around, they can do it. But people will not take to that. But yet we are still forcing and going around to make sure it's circulated so that Kwara will be disaster free. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Head of the Prevention Department, Kwara State Fire Service, MUHAMMED KAZEEM. And with that brings us to the end of today's edition of Kwara Today on Flow FM 92.7. A big thank you to our guest, MUHAMMED KAZEEM, for joining us today on the program.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. We will be happy if we can be having times like this to be sharing, because fire service is just like a very wide subject. I mean, a very wide.
Can't finish it all.
But we can't finish it all. And the way we are talking, people that are listening, they will having access to ask questions. What they don't know, they'll be hearing. And there are some things that is disturbing them before they don't know what to do. By hearing this, if they can ask questions, we are ready. We can,
and you can also
give them,
check out.
We can also check out
those
and
places. Thank you so much for sharing.
So I want to appreciate Flow FM also. My Oga who direct me to come down, he gave me the opportunity of being on there. Is Prince Faladi Jodobu, you are the director of Kwara State Fire Service. He's the Baba of the whole, is number one firefighter in the state. Without him, we have nothing. If he said no, nobody will say yes. Thank you very much, Baba. We really appreciate you. And also, Flow FM, I'll be hearing you all the way in the night. That is my best station. I'll first wait and be hearing.
Oh, it's a
pleasure. So where people are asking questions, I will message. If you look at my number, is there. I message, I always message, but I don't call. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we hope you've learned something important about staying safe and preventing fire outbreaks in your homes, workplaces, and communities. And remember, fire safety is everyone's responsibility. And the number to call the fire brigade once again is 080 3041 9316 or 080-2589-6740, and the free call number is 112.
You are correct.
Yes, okay. So join us again next week, same time, 11:30 to 12 p.m. for Kwara Today. Remember, this is a government-sponsored program, and of course, bringing the discussions about Kwara State closer to you. I am Olaiton Johnson, and we're going back to the music. This is Flow FM 92.7, your Go with the Flow radio station. Oh, yeah.
Papa Robert and Nobel together. No war and no fight, we stay together. If we stay together, we can make it better. If you love your brother and love your sister, we're rich and poor, we're hoping for more. We got natural resources, name it and tell me. Hey, celebrating harmony, shaping the future.